This week, Bethesda's Starfield took a bit of a knock as one of the former developers said its flight mechanics are not fun. So let's talk about that, shall we? Now, if you've ever used Bethesda's game engine for anything, you will know that driving cars, flying planes, flying dragons was never something it was good at. At best, you had this summon the dragon, click on your destination, and that's what happened. And any of your other attempt to make it do anything other than that tended to be a bit bad, right? As you might remember from the Dragonborn DLC and the final sequences. So it hasn't been very good at this, not ever. And quite frankly, I wasn't expecting it to be good in Starfield either. I wasn't expecting it to be a feature in Starfield, to be honest. Says, however, it is still entirely possible Bethesda will cut that feature entirely just because it isn't that great and do the old select your destination and it automatically takes you there routine. That's what I'm expecting. I'm still expecting that now. But what if they don't? What if they hammer at that feature and try and get it working and it eventually do get it working? What then? Well, if it does, if the whole thing does actually work, and it might, then this will be a whole new section of the creation engine that we have so far not seen in any previous game. It will be a new add-on, a new functionality for all of Bethesda's future games. I mean, you could have cars, you could have a Grand Theft Auto type game made in the same engine. So yeah, it would bring it up to date. It's one of the areas that the game is lacking in and could have really used a massive update in, is anything involving vehicles flying or anything like that. So yeah, it's an important step forward if they manage to pull it off. But if they don't manage to pull it off, then I wouldn't be surprised, because the engine itself doesn't feel like it's that kind of way inclined. But it is a case of just importing features into the engine that allow that kind of thing. And you never know, they might be able to just get a license of somebody else's code and drag that into their engine and use that, because that's how it works usually. You get different companies provide physics engines, this engine, that engine, whatever. They import it into their own engine, compile it into the game. That's how you get this functionality. So if they found somebody that can provide that kind of functionality and they buy a license for that product and they import that and bolt it onto the side of their engine, you could be driving cars, on Dwemer trains, anything in the future, absolutely anything. The other bit of content that they talked about was the game itself apparently had a lot more content than Bethesda could theoretically get ready in time for release. So the leaker suggested there's lots of content, far too much for the game, and some of it would have to be cut. So he was saying, like, if they want to get it released by November this year, a lot of it will have to be cut from the game. But that's good news, because it's better to have far too much content than far too little. It also means if they cut it in such a way, they might actually already have a major DLC ready for the content that hasn't been finished, that they couldn't get finished for the November release deadline. So they could release it as a DLC, as a bolt-on to the game, and then we'd get to play that extra content as well. Remember, it's okay saying why should we buy something that should have been in the default game, but there's a limited amount of time. Games used to be developed in 2 years. Now it takes many more years than that, and millions of pounds to do a AAA game. So, and Bethesda do provide good value for money. I mean, if you go by the £1 per hour gameplay is what the game's worth, Bethesda's games are worth thousands. I mean, to many people. So I'm not really expecting it to be not value for money. I'm expecting it to be good value for money, even if they do cut the content, simply because Bethesda's material, right, tends to have a high replay value. The engine, the flight mechanics, I'm still expecting it to be a point and click. You choose where you want to go and away you go. I don't see that changing unless Bethesda have got something up their sleeves that we don't know about yet, which is highly likely because they haven't told us anything if you think about it. So anyway, that's the rumours, right? So let's see how that pans out in time. But we should start seeing Bethesda posting news about their game engine during the summer, because if they want to release it by November, they have to get the hype train working. And the hype train starts usually about 4 or 5 months before release. See you in the next one.